Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and man, I am freaking tired. I'm gonna be a little bit silly this time, but anyway, yeah. So, episode 3 and 4. All right, I didn't get the chance to. Well, I didn't take the chance, I should say, to message or to talk about the uh, the FBI agent. Um, I thought it was pretty interesting that they showed so much of his background, but at the same time, yeah, I get it. I get it. It is actually really important. I'm thinking that they're going to try and change him. I think that Fisk is going to try and take over and try and bribe him to come on over. It's kind of a weird thing, but they kept on mentioning his financial records. I don't know that they really explained that as well as they should. I used to be an electrical engineer, and I remember uh, there was one time I applied for a job that actually had security clearance, and I figured I'm former military. You know what I'm saying? I got this. We're good. And I went and had a conversation with them, and they were serious about my finances. You know what I'm saying? They were looking like, do you have any credit cards? How much do you owe on those credit cards? Do you have a house? No, just an apartment? Okay, well, what's the rent like? And like they were really going into it. And apparently, there can be an awful lot of bribery involved, particularly if you owe a lot. You know what I'm saying? Only in episode 1, get on it, Raven, get on it. But literally they could be like, here's so and so much money. And I did mention in one of my, I forget, I think it was a podcast or whatever, I did mention one time that I did actually have some people who were trying to soften me up for a bribe, clearly because a lot of the other guys at this one company got bribed. We were working on the first wireless internet. There were actually two companies working on wireless internet at the same time. Ours got picked up by the military. Probably not as good an option, but nonetheless. So, yeah, they were actually softening a lot of us up, and some of us, not me, they actually offered a bribe to, like, hey, you want to come on over and, just give me a blueprint, give me a schematic, give me something to work with. And it's like, wow, that's really freaking messed up. But anyway, no, I didn't get that job. So it would have been boring anyway. But yeah, I'm totally feeling for this guy. That's exactly what they would do in the FBI. Hey, man, because you might think, well, if they just gave him the extra money, he'd be okay if they gave him the raise. But that's not really how it works. And I think most of us know this. Most of us in our adult lives know this. You're struggling with something, and all of a sudden, and you're just like, man, if only I had more money. But no, it's not more money, because all of a sudden you start getting more money. Let's say it's a very significant raise or even a second job. But now instead of living here while being paid this, now you're being paid this. So you're thinking, now I can live up here. And it's automatic. It's so ingrained in most of us. When you have more, you spend more. And a lot of us don't know how to actually budget our lives. And that's a really tough cookie to have to swallow. But anyway, that's the reason why she was actually trying to protect him, and we got to see later on the his boss. She was like actually trying to protect him. He's like, oh, I'm going to go to equal employment opportunity, and you could do that if you want. But then they're going to open up the case, and they're going to see that your FICA score is really low, 577, I think it was. No, it's got to be at least 700 for you to, qualify minimum. So no, he would have failed miserably, and they might have even kicked him off of the force. Bad thing, but it's life. Anyhow, um, she really turned out to be good people. That bit about her lying to her son, no, excuse me, to her daughter. She lied to her daughter, treated her like a snitch. The guy was like, that's not cool. Why would you do something like that? And that line, that quick little story that she gave about her father carrying the extremely dangerous hazardous materials. I thought she was going to say, oh yeah, he one time had an accident. Some kid went blind because of it. I was going like, oh my god, how would you turn it into that? That's not what they did though. Instead, she's just explaining how it was the extremely dangerous stuff, but he told me that it was not. It was anything but. And I just thought, wow, yeah, how is that any different than Santa Claus? The lies that we tell to our kids, man, that's terrible. Anyways, we're all dead. We're all horrible people. We're gonna go to hell. In the meantime, Daredevil. Holy crap, man. So they kind of got over the whole his hearing loss thing, and he's good again, but he's still trying to get back into the groove. When he went and visited Foggy, that just it just seems so like, why would you even do that? And then you realize the main purpose why he went was, what's up, dude? How you doing? Um, the main reason why he went was to steal his freaking wallet. Dude, way to completely use and abuse your friends, brah. So stole his wallet, used the little ID to get in there, and hey, wow, man, they were about to assassinate him, and that's actually interesting because we've seen that in the comics book, or yeah, in the comic books before. Specifically, they killed Foggy Nelson. Now, no, he actually survived, and he acted like he was dead to let Matt Murdock go on about his business and whatnot. He went into witness protection instead. Well, here we kind of put the shoe on the other foot, and Matt is trying to make everybody think he's dead. In reality, he's alive because Foggy's a snitch. Foggy's gonna get some stitches for all them snitches, and he goes and he tells Karen Page, and she's like, "Oh, I knew it. Oh, I'm so mad at this guy. I'm gonna let his rent slip now." I mean, she was paying for the dude's rent and everything, man. That's a woman. That's a woman for you. You know what I'm saying? You turned up missing, she's still paying your rent. Damn. Hard to find one of them. That's called a keeper. So, I found it really interesting that Matt got into the, we always have the hallway scene that we do in the Netflix series. In the in season one, the first time that we had a Marvel Netflix series, we had that cool hallway scene. All the other shows were doing it too. The when Luke Cage was walking through the that one building, I forget what the building was called, but that one building in Harlem where he was going to go and steal the money from Mariah Dillard, Dillard, Mariah Mariah Stokes. Can't mess that one. So she, she had all the money stored, and he went in and he took the money. So now she's kind of screwed. But there was that building scene in there where he's just throttling everybody. In season two of Daredevil, he was actually in the stairwell and he was going up and down. Here, it was in the prison, and this one wasn't nearly as good, but it was so believable because we know that he was weakened. He's still not up to full, snuff. He's fighting against these prisoners, and he also got just a little bit of that poison in his hand. That wasn't, very helpful for him. But I thought it was cool that when the officers start coming, he's like, "I need help! I need help! I need help!" And then you realize, oh wait, these guys are on the take. They pull out their batons. They start beating him, and then he gets the baton, and it's like, oh man, Daredevil's got a baton. He's gonna start kicking his butt. No, he drops it. What are you doing? But the thing with the Albanian, that man, like this is what I'm talking about. This is really good storytelling because he's not just using his fists. Now he's got to use his brain, and he's got to sit there and talk about, give me the name of this guy. And I didn't even look. I don't remember the name of the guy. I didn't actually look up the name, but we got two names. And one of the things I usually do if I wasn't freaking exhausted, and I got a full day ahead of me tomorrow, man. Not even cool. But one of the things that I typically do is when they give us names, I'll look up the name really quick if I don't remember it and see if there's something there. But even then, they don't usually use the characters the same way. So I could come to find out that one of these guys is like the Fool Killer, but they're not actually going to use him as the Fool Killer, And I'm just saying Fool Killer because I would love to see the Fool Killer in one of these freaking movies, one of these TV shows. But I thought that this was awesome. Everything that's being played right now is great. Um, Poindexter, Dex, the guy who's basically going to be Bullseye. I thought that scene where they went in to ask, he went in and he said, let me check out this videotape really quick. When those two officers, the agents, walked in and they talked to Kingpin and said, "Hey man, we got to know what happened there." Now we know from that first episode that those last two Albanian guys that were left, they saw all the carnage this agent was doing, and they were like, "Oh man, okay, we surrender." And he was just like, "Psh, pop, pop." and it's funny because that's what actually ended his ammunition. But it was important that he did that because if he didn't, then those two guys that came up behind him, they would have went after him. And then these two would have went after him also. Now he's got four people he's got to deal with. So he did the right thing, but he couldn't have known that at the time. So he went against protocol. It is what it is, and he's supposed to suffer the consequences. But instead, Wilson Fisk, he had him. He had his back. It's like, I got you, bro. And I was waiting for him to look up at the camera at any moment, and I was not disappointed. When he turned and he looked up at the camera, I just stared. I'm like, oh my god, like it moved me. I was like, oh my god, my soul. I'm sitting here, my soul is over here looking at me like, did he just do that? I'm like, I think he did. Can you get back in? I'm a little bit cold right now. Pass me the blanket while you're at it. Like that was wicked. I loved that. So when Poindexter walks it, like what a name, right? Mind you, go and check out Bullseye explained in a minute on Comic Book University for the lowdown on the real Bullseye. But his real name is Lester. That's all we have is Lester. Here it's a very different story. We've got to see the corruption of Poindexter. Sounds like Lester, right? So we're going to see the corruption of this character, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it because we saw the first main aspect of that. Kingpin sees what he can do, and he knows, he's like, I need this guy in my employ, and he's going to get him. He's going to get him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch a whole lot more. I might be able to get another hour of sleep before I got to get the kids awake and get them off to school, and might be easier to sleep. I don't know. We'll find out as I'm watching the next episode. Anyway, guys, I'll probably fall asleep to it. In the meantime, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, get back to watching that freaking amazing TV series because, oh my god. All right. Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.